All right, we are live at the Pace Happiest Hour. I'm Josh Jackson, and I'm joined today by Paul Thorn. Welcome, Paul.
How you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I feel all right for somebody that failed the sixth grade.
Well, I'm glad you're doing all right. So,
Yeah,
are
I
you?
recovered.
Where are you in Mississippi right now?
I am in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown, and I am about 15 minutes away from where. No, I'm like 5 minutes away from where Elvis Presley was born.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
fantastic. So, you were raised in Tupelo. Your dad was a Pentecostal minister, and you've got an album. Your last album. It's been out a couple years now, but it really goes back to those gospel roots.
that's correct. Yeah, I've done about 14 records in my career, and I always wanted to do a gospel record. And this last one, that's what I did. Man, I'm very proud of it. And I got to go on tour. I got to have the Blind Boys of Alabama on the record, and then we wound up doing a tour with the Blind Boys, a gospel review, and it was something I'll never forget, and it was well worth doing, and it made me feel good in my heart.
Well, the Blind Boys make everybody feel good in their heart. Love
Yeah,
those guys. We had them in the studio earlier this year when people could be, face to face, and we could do this not over
yeah,
Zoom.
yeah. They've been doing this all their life, and they've never seen a dime out of it.
Yeah, they're fantastic individuals and
You missed
amazing
my joke.
musicians.
You didn't get my
They've
joke.
never seen a dime. Now I get it. I got it. So you had an album called Pimps and Preachers, and now you're kind of full preachers on this one. Can you talk a little bit about why now and why really digging back into these gospel songs?
Well, it was a lot of reasons. Well, number one, this I actually have a new record in the can. It's been a while since this record came out, but the reason I did it was, like I said, gospel music is what I grew up singing, and during that time, to be honest, I had a lot of songs written to cut a secular record, but I didn't think I had the quality of songs that I really needed. I had a few, but not enough. And so I thought this would be a good time to do that gospel album I always wanted to do, because like I said, I had a bunch of songs, but I wasn't happy with the songs I had. So I said that was the time to do the gospel record.
Great. Well, are you gonna play something new today? Something old? What are
You
you
know
gonna play for
what?
us?
Well, here's what happened. My record, I cut a new record. I cut it at Sam Phillips Recording Studio in Memphis, Tennessee,
Hmm.
and it was scheduled to come out in July, and then the pandemic, came out, and so everything's at a standstill. So as of now, my new record is not going to come out till 2021, because it'd be kind of foolish, in my opinion, to put a record out right now, because you can't go tour behind it. You can't go play in front of crowds. You can't do the usual things like, NPR and, all these radio things that we get to do that perpetuate growth. All those things are gone. And so I don't want to waste an album that I feel good about when all the things aren't in place to give it a shot to be successful.
Hmm. Well, great. Well, we're happy to hear you play anything you want to play. So,
Yeah,
what's going
yeah.
to be
I'm
first
saying,
today?
yo, to answer your question, I'm not playing my new songs because I don't want them to be old when they come out.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying?
fair
I want them to
enough.
really sound. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna sing a song about a girl that left Tupelo. I saw Cinderella on Heartache and Dime. She sang a cappella and turned dollars into wine. Through the crowd, I heard the melody of Mississippi around my mind. And though no one noticed, I saw a tear fall from her eye. She's like a star that fell down on the wrong side of town. but to me she shines with the Northeast city lights back into below tonight. Something's missing in the sky, must be a star that fell down. I took her picture standing outside the Hollywood Bowl. She believes that one day they'll come here to see her show. She waited in the fountain among the wishes that others threw in. She didn't have a penny, so I tossed one in. She's like a star that fell down on the wrong side of town, but to me she shines with the Northeast city lights back into below tonight. Something's missing in the sky, must be a star that fell down. In the city of angels, big dreams die hard. Back home they don't know she's been sleeping in her car. She parks it by payphone. She gave the number to a friend of a friend. She's waiting on a ship that ain't ever coming in. She's like a star that fell down on the wrong side of town, but to me she shines with the Northeast city lights back into below tonight. Something's missing in the sky, must be a star that fell down. She's like a star that fell down. That's it. Thank you for the accolades.
That was fantastic.
Thank you, man.
So you've had an interesting career. Starting out, you were a boxer. You worked in a chair factory. Did a lot of things before you started playing music, and now you've been playing music a long time, a couple decades, doing this as a career, and staying there right in Mississippi. And Mississippi has I think responded and appreciated you being there. There's a Paul Thorn Day in Tupelo.
Yeah.
So
I thought you had to be assassinated to get a day, but apparently you don't.
Well, I'm glad you are alive to enjoy your day.
Yeah, I am. It's really pretty neat.
So talk a little bit about being in Mississippi right now. You know, we're all kind of a little bit shuttered at home and can't be touring on the road. And what's going on there in Mississippi?
Well, you know, you go to Walmart, you put your mask on, and you walk around, and they're out of bread, they're out of frozen pizzas, the things you need, and there's nothing to do. You get up, I get up and have coffee with my wife. Maybe I'll go out in the back, and we got a lake behind our house, and I go out there and catch fish. And I'm letting them go right now, but I wanted to keep my fishing chops up, because if it goes real bad, I'll be able to catch fish to eat, you know.
Yeah. So you've already got an album in the can. Are you finding yourself writing much lately? I mean, is this for?
Yeah, I've been writing some. Yeah, I just I'm so bummed out because I'm really high on the record I did. I feel really good about it, and I feel like I got a really good group of songs. It's killing me that I can't put it out right now and that I can't go promote it. You know. Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect in 2021 with this record?
Yeah. Well, you know, in all my records I've ever done, the way we record is I'll go in the studio and I'll play the songs on my acoustic guitar, and my band will listen and write the charts, and then I'll put my guitar down and they'll play the songs and I'll just sing. But on this record, for the first time, I'm playing guitar on the record, and I came in there with my acoustic guitar and I played every single song, and the band came in and just put little embellishments over my acoustic guitar. So it's kind of an acoustic album actually, and it's the emphasis is on the songs. It's not a real jammy record. It's all, I feel like I have a group of really strong songs that I'm really proud of, and I represented them in a really stripped down, raw kind of way, unlike anything I've ever done in the past. And I'm just super psyched about it.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I look for the day where you can share that with the rest of the world, where you can tour behind it, and maybe we can do this face to face at the Pace Studio in Atlanta when that album's out.
I would love that. How's the magazine doing? How's Pace doing?
We're hanging in there. It's a rough time for everybody, but it's sad to have the studio shut right now and not be able to have people in. But I really have been enjoying this, getting to hear some live music every day and talk to somebody new. And
yeah, well, I tell you one business that is not hurting, one that's really thriving, is liquor stores.
Well, I've got my sidecar right here. So
see there, I mean, I go into the liquor store now, and it's just like packed all the time. And I think everybody is drinking a little bit more than they normally do because they've got so much idle time now, So after this thing's all over, we're going to have a bunch of pregnant ladies and alcoholics to deal with.
Well, I'm going in moderation here, so
good for you. What do you like? What do you like to drink?
I love beer. I love IPAs and sours and all kinds of crazy beers. But then I also love a good old fashioned or gin and tonic. This is the first time I've ever made a sidecar, so
yeah,
it's pretty good.
Is it pretty good? What's in it?
Cognac, some orange liqueur, and some lemon juice.
That sounds good.
That's it.
Tequila's my drink.
Tequila's yours?
That's what I like. Yeah,
I do like a good tequila. Well, cool.
I drank for the first time in my life on my 32nd birthday. I never
That's
had
a long
even drank.
time going.
Yeah. I was a preacher's kid, and they frowned on it in the church. And then I was an athlete, and they frowned on that for being an athlete. So I just didn't drink. But now I like to have a little bit of tequila every now.
A little tequila every now and then is just fine. So yeah, I didn't drink a lot until I was 20s, 30s. I was not a wild child.
Are you married?
I am.
Yeah, how long you been married?
23 years.
I've been married 22.
All
you got
right.
any advice? You got any advice for me?
Oh man, just there's always going to be rough times. You just got to work through them. Get to the good parts.
I'll give you some good advice my dad shared with me. He said, when you come home in the evening and you see your wife for the first, time in the evening, make sure that the first 5 minutes of your conversation, make sure you're saying things that are positive, because the first 5 minutes sets the tone and the mood for the entire evening. So if you come in there saying, "Girl, you look good today. I've been thinking about you all day. How you been, sweetheart?" and give her a kiss on the cheek or whatever you want to kiss her at, that'll perpetuate her saying something nice back, and then next thing you know, you've got along good for the whole evening.
Well, that is fantastic advice. Well, before we run out of time, I'd love to hear another song. You got another song for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna sing a song about tequila. My doctor told me to dry out before I kill myself. But you just don't know how that bottle has brought me through living here. When your memory comes calling, and I feel the teardrops start, I found tequila is good for the heart. We've all got to die or something. It's sad, but it's true. At least if I drown your memory, I might not die over you. Well, there is no surefire remedy, but when love tears you apart, I found tequila is good for the heart. I went to revival last Sunday, 'cause I needed to talk to the Lord. I asked him to help me get over you. Then I drove to the liquor store. I cried out, Father, forgive me. But when prayer only takes you so far, I found tequila is good for the heart. We've all got to die or something. It's sad, but it's true. At least if I drown your memory, I might not die over you. Well, there is no surefire remedy, but when love tears you apart, I found tequila is good for the heart. Yes, I found tequila is good for the heart. That's it.
I will drink to that.
Amen.
Amen and amen. All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we bring in our other friend here, Drew Holcomb.
Cool.
It is a southern episode. I'm here in Atlanta. We've got Paul in Mississippi, and now we have Drew in Tennessee. Welcome, Drew.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys? Hey, Paul.
We're good.
What's up, man? Good to see you guys.
It's all good. How you been?
I've been all right. Yeah, making it.
All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we like to toast those who deserve a toast. And today I would like to kick us off with toasting restaurateurs and people working in restaurants, trying to figure out how and when to open, and if they do open, how to do it safely, and to navigate all the stuff they've never had to deal with before, and then to try to, go to work without getting sick and without getting put to risk. So wherever you fall on the spectrum of you think we need to open up, you think we need to keep it closed for a lot longer, the people that are just trying to work and make a living and do it the best they can, I just want to raise a glass to you today. Cheers.
That's a wonderful toast. Well said, my friend.
Well, Paul, you don't have your tequila with you right now, but who should we be toasting today? Who else should we go?
I want to give a toast, excuse me, to my mother, because the other day I went and visited her, and when I got to her house, there was this sketchy-looking guy on her porch. He was real skinny. All his teeth were rotted out, and I could tell he kind of looked like a meth head, kind of. And so I was worried about him being on the porch with my mama. And then my mom comes out on the porch and meets him with an empty Mountain Dew bottle full of water and a bowl of homemade gumbo she had made. And come to find out, this guy lived down the street, and he had hit hard times. He didn't have any running water. He didn't have electricity. He had nothing, zero, nothing. And so my mama was meeting him on the porch every day and giving him some water to drink and giving him food. And to me, that's somebody that deserves a toast.
Absolutely. Sounds like an incredible lady.
She
Yeah.
really
Paul's
is.
mom.
She really is.
Cheers.
Yeah. To my mom, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what to me, that's what she's a minister's wife, and to me that's what a Christian's supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see more of that. All right, Drew, who else should be toasting today?
All right, I'm going to toast all the what do you call them? The utility workers. Here in Nashville, we keep getting killed with these storms.
Oh my gosh.
And man, we got trees down, and the utility workers have been busting their asses to kind of get power back on and clearing roads and driveways and electrical lines. And it's been nonstop here since we had a tornado in early March and straight through COVID, and those folks have not had a break. So I'm gonna cheers all the linemen out there.
All right, cheers to the linemen.
Yep.
Cheers to them. Absolutely.
Keeping the lights on.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, thank you so much for sharing your music and coming and joining us today.
Thank y'all for having me, man. And I wish all the people at Happiest, I hope y'all can keep it going, because it's a true fact that we're all wondering how we gonna keep things going. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah,
it's hitting everybody. There's been nothing in my lifetime like this, which has just hit everybody so hard. Whether you've gotten sick or not, it's just affecting everybody.
Yep. And if you stay closed up with your wife too long, somebody could get killed.
Paul, this has been a joy. I'm so glad to have you on. This has been fun.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna exit y'all and say, hope everything's all right in the next year.
All right, you too, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
See you later. Okay, man.
So, Drew, it feels like every other guest has been from Nashville, and we keep talking about just the ways Nashville's been beaten down from the tornado, which I was in Nashville like 2 days before that happened. It's the last trip I took, in the before times. And since then, there's been more just windstorms and so many musicians that would be on the road touring right now that are out of work. How are you holding up?
It's we're holding up pretty good. Everybody's kind of had to get creative in this time, and I'm home with my wife and 3 young kids, so I haven't had a lot of time on my hands. It's just sort of like wrangling kids and trying to figure out how to keep making music to keep my band, paid and all that kind of stuff. But it's been cool. We've had a lot of generous people that hired us to do all sorts of random music stuff, and we've been doing these things called kitchen covers, where we've been doing a cover a night we're now on night 50. We did it for 40 straight, and then we went to 3 days a week about 2 weeks ago, 2.5
And
weeks
you
ago.
that's a big milestone tonight, 50 of these things. I've done like 25 of these, and that's a lot. And I'm not even playing anything. I don't have to learn a song.
I'm sure you're doing your research on your guests and everything. It still probably takes a lot of time, but yeah, Nashville's. We've been on a good run here for a while since since the flood, and when was that, 2009 or something like that, 10. I can't remember exactly, but I think like everybody's sort of trying to take care of each other. It's been, even hearing you talk about the restaurants, it's been cool. Some of our local restaurants have been just slammed with takeout. People want to make sure that their favorite spots are still open when this thing is over, and there's a lot of people trying their best to take care of themselves and their neighbors, and so that's sort of what we can do here, is do our part to make sure we're taking care of everybody around us.
Absolutely. And how old are the kids now?
7.5, 5, and 18 months.
Oh, wow. So That's you've got your hands full.
Yeah, especially the 18-month-old. He doesn't understand anything about what's going on. He's just trying to knock stuff over and climb in the toilet. So,
Oh wow. Well, I'm so glad that you found time to join us today here. Looking forward to this, and looking forward to hearing some music. So, we've got people listening from Brazil and New Zealand, and you got some fans here. What are you going to play for them?
all right, we'll start with this is a song called "Into the World." Sort of feels apropos, a little tongue-in-cheek look at the way we sort of divide ourselves and the other side. But it's just yeah. I didn't mean to write a prophetic song about the pandemic, but maybe it's got a lot of requests for this at this time, so I'll do this one.
Great.
Sometimes I am afraid to die. My flesh and bones won't testify. My enemies and friends share the same residence. Don't eulogize on my behalf. I'm a long way from my epitaph. I'm only getting started on this lost highway. I am brave and I am not afraid. Hey, it's the end of the world now. Haven't you heard? So smoke 'em if you got 'em. Boys and girls, say goodbye to the past now. Raise up your glass and revel while it lasts. It's the end of the world. Oh, I am foolish, I am blind. I lose my heart, I lose my mind. My soul feels like a trumpet on the battlefield. Don't shower me with flattery. I ain't got no time for pleasantries. Give me the truth and set me free. Hey, it's the end of the world now. Haven't you heard? So smoke 'em if you got 'em. Boys and girls, say goodbye to the past now. Raise up your glass and revel while it lasts. It's the end of the world. Go tell the congregation we need a revelation. Go tell the congregation we need a revelation. Hey, it's the end of the world now. Haven't you heard? So smoke 'em if you got 'em. Boys and girls, say goodbye to the past now. Raise up your glass and revel while it lasts. It's the end of the, hey, it's the end of the world now. Haven't you heard? So smoke 'em if you got 'em. Boys and girls, say goodbye to the past now. Raise up your glass and revel while it lasts. It's the end of the world.
Woo! So that, like so many songs people have played on this show, it's just an example of the way that music can take on new meaning in these crazy times. It does feel like a prophetic song, and it's funny and beautiful how music can do that.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's made me even more appreciative of music. Sort of the isolation. Made me realize how much music has sort of been a friend to me over the years. Not even just like totally being a professional, not in that thought, but just like as a fan of music, how much I realized, like, oh yeah, when I look throughout the like timeline of my life, music has been a pretty daggone good friend,
Absolutely, I do know, and that's why I appreciate this, and getting to hear some live music at the end of my day every day has been just wonderful for me selfishly to
Yeah.
have that. That's one of the things that I always latch onto, and one of the others is just good conversation. So this is perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Dragons came out towards the end of last year. You'd be touring it right now, but tell us a little bit about the making of that record and getting to write with folks like Lori McKenna and Zach Williams and Natalie Henby and so many of my personal favorite songwriters.
Yeah. Well, I for years I sort of steered clear of co-writing. When I first moved to Nashville, I had a bunch of co-writes that people sort of told me like, oh, you moved to town, you got to try that, you got to do, who are you writing with? And I'm like, what do you mean, who am I writing with? I'm writing by myself, So I gave it a few goes, and honestly, my experience was pretty terrible. I didn't like it at all. I felt like everything was all about trying to find this sort of, pie in the sky hook that could somehow get cut by some, artist who had a bunch of fans, and it ended up, I didn't really like any of the songs, so I stopped doing it, and I stopped doing it for like a decade, and really wrote most of my records alone or with my band, So this time around, I kind of hit like a creative and personal like wall around 2017. I got really sick. I was in the hospital. I got meningitis, and then had to go tour a record called Souvenirs. And because I was sick, and I just was sort of like wasn't feeling it at all for the first time in my career. I usually love being on stage. I love singing songs. For the first time, I just didn't love it anymore. And so instead of walking away from it, I kind of took some time to think about some things, and then doubled down and made some changes. And one of those changes was my songwriting. I realized that the last 3 records before that, I had written the songs all in like a 3 to 5 month period of time, picked the best songs, recorded them, toured, and then didn't write for like a year in between. And so for this record, for Dragons, I wrote 2 or 3 days a week for almost a year and a half. And also decided to try something new, which was to write with great songwriters who had become friends, who had offered to write with me. I mean, somebody like Lori had said, like, we met at an event we both played at, and she said, I'd love to write with you sometime. I love your music. And I was like, oh, thank you. That'd be fun. But I kind of never followed through with it. And it was like, you're an idiot, man. You're like, Lori McKenna wants to write songs with you. You should go write songs with Lori McKenna. She's such a legend. And then writing with other artists as well. Sean McConnell, who I wrote that Into the World song with, and Zach Williams from the Lone Bellow, who I wrote the title track with, Dragons. And so it took a very personal turn. This is a record that's sort of about the sort of various roles I found myself in my late 30s. So, I got a song about my kid. I got a song about my wife. I got a song about my brother that passed away when I was a kid. I got a song about my grandfather. And it's sort of these songs were sort of all like little personal wrestling matches with various sort of parts of what it means to be a, late 30s dad, artist, husband, son, all the different sort of, hats that I wear and what they mean and how I think about them and how I can share that experience with other people. And hopefully it sort of resonate as a mirror as music does.
It absolutely did, and we appreciate you sharing some of that here today. So what are you going to play second for us?
Yeah, I'll play Dragons. This is
this is the like Zach Williams, Lone Bellow co-write.
Yeah, this is a song I wrote with Zach. We both were talking about sort of how our grandfathers played this sort of outsized role in our youthful imaginations. My grandfather was a sort of very interesting, charismatic guy. He was a surgeon. He was a World War II surgeon. Then he moved back. He was in Tokyo after the war, working there, and then he moved home, and then had a bunch of kids, and was a surgeon in Memphis. Then moved to Africa for a year, and anyways, just was a taxidermist. Loved to play golf. Had all sorts of strange hobbies, and I grew up 5 doors down the street from him. So this is a song about sort of encountering his ghost on a camping trip. So it goes like this.
I was climbing a mountain, asleep in the moonlight. The ghost of my grandpa came to me in a dream. As the stars hung above us, he started singing this chorus. He laughed loud as heaven and said this to me. Take a few chances, a few worthy romances. Go swimming in the ocean on New Year's Day. Don't listen to the critics. Stand up and bear witness. Go slay all the dragons that stand in your way. Well, we stayed up and we talked until the sunrise. War and love and sorrow. He said, stop spending all your money on forgiveness of sins. Today is all you promised. Don't trouble with tomorrow. He faded into the forest, proudly singing this hymn. Take a few chances, few worthy romances. Go swimming in the ocean on New Year's Day. Don't listen to the critics. Stand up and bear witness. Go slay all the dragons that stand in your way. I woke up with a fever, surrounded by lightning. All my windows are open and I let the rain flood in. The past felt like the present, the future uncertain. I sang like a sparrow lost in the wind. Take a few chances, few worthy romances. Go swimming in the ocean on New Year's Day. Don't listen to the critics. Stand up and bear witness. Go slay all the dragons that stand in your way. Go slay all the dragons that stand in your way. Go slay all the dragons that stand in your way.
Thank you very much.
I feel like between you and Paul, this is just a great advice episode. Go slay all the dragons.
That's
good.
Great. Paul's a hoot, man. I've been around him a
is.
little bit. He's a lot of fun.
This has been truly fun. So, in addition to being a singer-songwriter, band leader, you started a musical festival.
I did, yeah.
And, you know, this is a tough time to have a musical festival. Do you know what's going on with Moon River in September?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're a little bit of sort of in a wait and see. You know, nobody knows. I mean, we're thankfully still a good ways out. It's sort of late September. We'll definitely be making a decision about it sort of in the relatively near future. I think everybody wants it to happen. You know, we'll see. There's you know, a lot of things getting canceled. There's a lot of things on the schedule in the fall, and we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely be following. You know, we're not going to be making some lone wolf decision. We'll be making, you know, we'll sort of be in cahoots with all those sort of public health folks, and then also our partners, AC Entertainment, who, you know, also do Bonnaroo and other things. So, you know, we're hopeful. We do know that if for whatever reason it doesn't happen, we'll come, you know, roaring back when we're able to.
Yeah.
You know, it's been, I think, once there's a sort of a way forward for music, you know, live touring to continue, that I think people are going to want it even more than ever. You know, I know that I really miss it. It's just as a fan of music, you know, the idea that you get into a room full of strangers and you sort of have this shared, you know, human experience that's not going to go away. I mean, in as much as I really appreciated the ability to communicate with people through, the internet, through live stuff, I think we could all agree that it's like a Band-Aid. It's not quite like being in a room and watching your favorite band sweat 40, 50 feet away from you and sing their hearts out. So I really look forward to that and hope it can be sooner than later. But we also want to take every precaution to take care of the people who've entrusted us with their well-being when they pay money to see us play, whether it's a festival or a theaters. So to be determined, To
be determined. Yeah, these are hard calls, and don't envy you having to figure that out between now and September. But it is a very cool festival. I haven't been yet, but I always see the lineup and think I need to get myself to Chattanooga. So
it's a great festival. Chattanooga's a great town. We've got a great location. We've had incredible lineups, and it's been my favorite thing about it. I kind of tried to build it as like what are the things I love about festivals and what are the things I don't love about festivals as an artist. And one of the things I don't love is competing stages. So we never have artists playing at the same time as another artist. There's two stages and they just go back and forth. So you can see everybody that comes. And, that's another thing about going to festivals. You're like, oh man, so-and-so's on that stage, but they're playing till 3:30. And at 3:00, the other band that I love is half a mile away, So we do our best to sort of make it great for the artist and the fans, but it's a lot of great festivals out there.
Great. Well, one of these days I'm going to make it up to Chattanooga and catch the fest when it comes back this year, next year, whenever it is. So one question I like to ask on this show is, what is the art that is getting you through this? Whether that's a TV show, a book, somebody else's album. What's a piece of art that you would love to recommend to our viewers here?
Yeah. Well, as a child of the 90s, I'll be honest and say the thing I've enjoyed probably the most has been the Last Dance documentary.
As soon as you said child of the 90s, I knew where you're going with that.
Look, you can see right here my finger. This is a 1991 Bulls signed ball.
Wow.
And an 89 signed hat. Scottie Pippen was a friend of one of my dad's buddies. And so we got some, like, when I was a kid, I was a big Bulls fan. But I think it's been a great sort of the humanity of that whole thing and made me realize I really have missed that. But, I'd say besides that, I've really been enjoying digging into all these different artists that I've been covering. So pretty much every day I'm listening to, like today it's Amos Lee. And so I went back and listened to the entire Mission Bell record. I've just fallen back in love with all these records that I've always loved, but some of them have kind of gotten away from me. And so reacquainting myself with records that I love has been a real highlight.
Well, it's been a time for that, so that's great. Well, Drew, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
Best of luck with the young kids as you're stuck at home. And look forward to the day where you can get back on the road and we can do this face to face again.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, and many cheers to you and all the folks out there paying attention and listening to us. So,
all right. Cheers. And thanks to everybody who tuned in today. And last thing, how do they find Kitchen Covers tonight?
So we do it on our Instagram page. So Instagram.com, Drew Holcomb Music. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much, Drew.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Take care.
You too.